Let's talk about Tree of Forgiveness. This is your first album of new songs since 2005.
Right.
Why now?
Well, because my wife and my Fiona, she's managing me, and our son Jody's running Oh Boy Records ever since Albinetta passed away, and they came to me last summer and said it's time to make a record, and I said, "What do you mean?" They said, "You know, I was writing, but really slow. I had about 4 or 5 things I liked, and they booked me a suite at the Omni in Nashville. The hotel's connected to the Hall of Fame, and I just they put me there with 10 boxes of unfinished lyrics and three of my guitars and a ukulele, and I just started writing songs. So I came out a week later and I had enough songs for the record.
So you literally holed up in a hotel room for about a week, probably ate nothing but room service, and you came out with enough songs for a new album.
Evidently, they know me well enough that they called my bluff and said it's time to make a record. Go write some songs, and so I did.
Well, how does that differ from your approach to songwriting in the past? I take it this is not the way you.
I
This is
just
not.
write them whenever I feel like.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't realize 13 years had passed since the last record because we'd done another duet record in there somewhere. And to me, records are records, like whether it's my stuff or not.
When you write a song, you don't necessarily think about that it's going to be part of a new record. You write
No,
bits and pieces of songs. You have
yeah,
ideas, and then you might leave them on the
and
side for a bit, and then come back and pick it up and put it together with another idea. Right?
what'll happen is one song will come along and I'll kind of get excited about it, and I'll start looking at the other songs, and all of a sudden they start to fit together because there's no real thread there, except I'm the only common thread in the songs, but I don't see that not until I get 9 or 10 songs that there's really any reason for the songs to fit together on one record.
Well, there does seem to be a common thread on the new record. First of all, how did you come up with the title, Tree of Forgiveness?
Well, when I was courting Fiona back in early '90s, over in she was living in Dublin, Ireland, and because she's Irish, and we used to go to a restaurant called the Tree of Idleness. It was about 30 miles outside of Dublin, and I always liked the name of that restaurant. I liked it so much I stole an ashtray from there with the name of it, and I figured when I like a name that much, I usually try and abscond the name and use it somehow in my own work. And so I thought the Tree of Forgiveness was a good one because forgiveness is a pretty um, well-known thing. I mean, everybody's got to deal with it sooner or later, whether it's they're forgiving somebody or forgiving themselves, or And I figured Tree of Forgiveness sounded like a really good title to me.
Forgiveness is one of the hardest things in life, isn't it?
It sure is. I think so. I think people forgiving themselves have the toughest time. Some people carry that stone around for a long time.
Well, the songs in this new record seem to be more personal, more reflective. Some would say more romantic than some of your other albums. Does that reflect a certain point of your life right now or the world around you? Or do you agree that these songs are more personal and more romantic than some of your other records?
Actually, I didn't see any connection whatsoever until I went in the studio and when I came out of the studio with the 10 songs produced by Dave Cobb. Then I started to see how they fit together, and that some of the songs were about. Oh, I don't really think the songs were about mortality when I was writing them, but now that I look back at them, some of them seem that way.
Now, you're not averse and you haven't been shy in the past of including subject matter about the world and
Right.
with a little bit of politics maybe thrown in, subtle or not so subtle. There's nothing in this new record that has any of that going for it.
Well, the Caravan of Fools, I wrote it with 3 other guys, and the only clue we had was the song was about impending doom. And I thought, that's a good enough description of the current administration. So, and it's all in a minor key, too. So that tells you right away that there's trouble, coming down the road.
But that's as close as you wanted to get. No,
Yeah, I'll
not
tell you.
no naming names.
No, as as a songwriter that has written a few uh, humorous political things. I tried to write something about the current president, but he's just too big of a character. Um, it's hard to pin him down and without going into a rant, right? And certainly don't want a song that sounds like a rant about politics. But give me time, I'll get him.
So, John, how does it feel at the age of 71, as some people have dubbed you, to be the spiritual godfather for an entire new generation of young artists, singers, songwriters, who really do look up to you? And the influence you've had, you can't deny it, the influence you've had on a lot of people has been pretty enormous.
It took me a while to swallow that one, but it's I don't mind it so much because they're the people that we're talking about: Jason Isbell, Sturgill Simpson. Um, all of a sudden, I'm drawing a blank. Margot Price.
Casey Musgraves will be here tomorrow to tape a show with us.
Well, no kidding. Casey's one of my favorites. Mm-hmm. I love her. She came to town about 6 years ago and looked me up at the Station Inn. And her and her girlfriend wanted to take me in the parking lot and get me high because she had this song called Burn One with John Prine. She slipped a cassette in my pocket, and that's how I met Casey. Yeah, but she's great. All these people, they're very talented, so them saying that I had any influence on their writing, it's a real compliment to me, because they are so talented. I've been kind of waiting, and I'm sure a lot of other people that like singer-songwriters, I've been waiting for stuff to get kicked up a notch, and I really feel like it has been in the last 6-7 years, that there's some really great stuff out there.
I'm sure you get asked this question a lot too. What advice would you have for a young, aspiring songwriter today?
Make sure you really love what you're writing, because you might have to sing it the rest of your life.
And generally, write what you feel in your gut, not
right.
according to some
Exactly.
formula.
Don't you? Most people do try and kind of guess what's going on, what the last hit record was, even if they don't mean to. I would just say, totally go with your gut. Go with what you're going through at the time, and write about, like they say, write about stuff you know. Write about, even if you don't know yourself very well, write about who you think you are or what's happening to you. You got a chance of being more in the beam than guessing what people are going to like.
Some people thought it was a little strange when you wrote Angel from Montgomery because it was from a female perspective, and that was not something that a male singer or songwriter would do back in the day. Did you even think about it that way?
No, not at all. I just thought, I'm a writer. I could be any gender I want, Like, you can't just write about male characters, If I was a novelist, I wouldn't have just exclusively men's voices in my my books. So in that song, I had a lot of characters in my songs when I wrote Angel from Montgomery, and I didn't want the song to be in the third person. I wanted it to be in the first person, and that's why I sang it as if I was the woman. I didn't want to describe her. It would have been taken away from the description of the character for an outside voice to be describing her.
In third person, basically, yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
That makes sense. So finally, last question. What's the hardest part about having 10 brand new songs and then having to go out night after night and sing them to a new audience?
Having to get in an airport every day and get on an airplane and go somewhere. If I could afford my own airplane, it'd be an easy job. Matter of fact, if I could afford my own airplane, I'd stay home.
I thought your answer was going to be remembering all of the lyrics to 10 new songs night after night.
Well, sometimes that is a problem, but I've been out there now for, it's only like 60 days we've been into it, but it seems like 120. you know. But it feels good too because it's great to have new songs to sing. It makes my old songs sound better to me.
That's an interesting way to put it. Well, you must be doing something right. People seem to love the new record, and you're getting a good response out there night after night.
Things are going great, really great.
Got to be very gratifying after all of these years.
It certainly is.
So hopefully you won't quit anytime soon. Keep it up.
Thanks, Terry.
And thanks for coming back, John. You're always welcome here.
Thank you. I always feel welcome here.